Hello there, welcome back to another video in learning everything we can learn from VisionOS Documentation. Here in our 30th video, we're going to look at checking whether your existing app is compatible with VisionOS. We're going to determine whether your existing iOS or iPadOS app runs as is in VisionOS or requires modifications to handle platform differences. VisionOS runs compatible iPad and iPhone apps to provide continuous access to existing content right away. VisionOS supports most of the same technologies as iOS, so many apps built to run on iPad or iPhone can run unmodified on VisionOS devices. When a compatible app runs in VisionOS, it retains the same appearance it had in iPadOS or iOS, and its content appears in a window in the person's surroundings. If you have an app in the iOS App Store, try downloading it and running it on Apple Vision Pro. If you run into issues, use Xcode to identify and fix them. If you built your app using the iOS SDK, Xcode 15, and later automatically add a designed for iPad runtime destination to your project. Use this destination to run your app and test its compatibility in VisionOS. You can test most of your app's core functionality in Simulator, but some features are only available on a device. Determine whether a missing feature impacts your app. VisionOS contains most of the same technologies as iPadOS and iOS, but there are some differences. In some cases, a feature you use in your app might not be available because there are of hardware differences or because of differences in how people use a VisionOS device. As part of your testing, consider the impact of any missing features on your app's overall experience. Whenever possible, work around missing features by disabling them or providing alternative ways to access the same content. The following features aren't available in compatible iPad and iPhone apps on the VisionOS. Use framework APIs to determine when the features are available. Core motion surfaces, barometer, and magnetometer data. All location services except the standard service. Health kit data, video and still photo capture, camera features like autofocus or flash, rear-facing selfie cameras. In some cases, a framework or feature behaves differently when your app runs in VisionOS. Be prepared to handle these differences when your app runs in VisionOS. AirPlay. VisionOS hides AirPlay share buttons in system interfaces, and you can't use AirPlay features from compatible apps. App extensions. VisionOS doesn't load app clips, device drivers, device activity monitors, keyboard extensions, messages app extensions, photo editing app extensions, SMS and call reporting extensions, or widgets. Apple Watch features. VisionOS ignores watchOS apps and WatchKit extensions in your iOS or iPadOS app. The watch connectivity framework is unavailable. Face sharing in ClockKit does nothing in VisionOS. Audio and video. VisionOS doesn't support picture-in-picture or AV routing features. Check the availability of video features before using them. Be prepared for audio playback to stop automatically when your app moves to the background. Classroom features. Starting a test with automatic assessment configurations reports an error. Cellular telephony, cellular service are unavailable. You can still implement voice over IP services using CallKit or call telephony. Device management. Calls to the managed settings and manage settings UI sys framework do nothing. Game controllers. VisionOS delivers game controller events only when someone is looking at the app. To require a game controller as an input device for your app, add the GC game controller requires controller user interaction key with the VisionOS value to your app's info plist. Handoff. VisionOS doesn't attempt to hand off user activity to another device. Haptics. VisionOS plays sounds instead of haptics. HomeKit. You can't add accessories using a QR code from a VisionOS device. Metrics. You can use MetricKit to gather on-device diagnostic logs and generate reports, but you can't gather the metrics. Multi-touch. The system responds reports at most two simultaneous touch inputs, one of each of the person's hand. All system gestures recognizers handle these inputs correctly, including zoom and rotation gestures that require multiple fingers. If you have custom gesture recognizers that require more than 2 points of interaction, update them to support only 1 or 2 touches in VisionOS. Parental control. Calls to the family control framework do nothing. Pencil kit. VisionOS doesn't report touches of the type UI touch type .pencil, but it does report other types of touches. Push to talk. Calls to push to talk framework do nothing. Safari services links that presents a SF Safari view controller opens a Safari scene instead. Screen time. Calls to screen time framework do nothing. Sensor related features. Calls to the sensor kit framework do nothing. Social media. Calls to social framework do nothing. System interfaces. Authorization prompts, sign in with Apple prompts, and other system provided interfaces run asynchronously outside of the app processes. Because these interfaces don't run modularly in your app might not receive immediate responses. Vehicle features. The system doesn't call your app's CarPlay code. Calls you make using car key do nothing. Vision data scanners do nothing in VisionOKit. The version of ARKit in iOS is incompatible with the one in VisionOS, and VisionOS cannot display windows that contain ARKit views. For information about how to bring an ARKit app to VisionOS, see Bringing Your ARKit app to VisionOS. For details about how to handle missing features in your code, see Making Your Existing App Compatible with VisionOS. Test specific scenarios before uploading your app. The following App Store features for iOS continue to work when your app runs in VisionOS. In-app purchases and subscription, app compatibilities and entitlements, on-demand resources, app thinning. When you use app thinning to optimize your app for different devices and operating systems, the App Store selects the resources and content that offers the best fit for VisionOS devices. It then removes any other resources to create a streamlined installation of your app. When you export your app from Xcode 15 or later, you can test the thinning support using the VisionOS virtual thinning target. When you're ready to distribute your app, create an archive and export it using the ad hoc or development distribution method. During the export process, Xcode creates an appropriately signed app for you to distribute to your testers. For more information, see Distributing Your App to Registered Devices. Update your app information in App Store Connect. The App Store makes compatible iPad and iPhone apps available in VisionOS automatically after you sign the updated Apple Developer Program license agreements. If you don't want your app to run on Apple Vision Pro, change your app's availability in App Store Connect. First, select your app in the App Store Connect. Second, navigate to the pricing and availability information. Third, disable the Make this app available on the Apple Vision Pro option. When you remove your app's availability for Apple Vision Pro, the App Store stops making your iOS app available for VisionOS. People who already downloaded your iOS app can still run it on VisionOS, but they can't download it again. This setting doesn't affect the version of your app built using the VisionOS SDK. And with that, we have come to the end of the 30th video for learning everything we can learn from VisionOS documentation. I'm going to have one more video, and we're going to begin working on some sample apps that use the APIs suggested here in documentation. And I am looking forward to having my hands on Apple Vision Pro so that we can test those APIs.